She's the one of the hosts of the cycle.
She's one of the hosts of the cycle, man. That
Yeah.
is like the
Is there anything
defining
else? Is there
show
anything
of our
else
generation.
to know about her?
She's the daughter of John Huntsman, who is the Republican candidate for president, which I know you know, Matt.
I forgot all about that guy.
You forgot.
No,
Yeah.
I'm joking, but
That's the point, right? Like, who even remembers?
You mean
that
you
guy?
mean she's the daughter of my president, John Huntsman?
John Huntsman, whose campaign had the same electricity and excitement and passion that the release of a new Enya album would have in this office. I mean, just that presidential campaign. Look, here it would win by a landslide in the Morning Joe cast. But besides that, it was a complete fail because mind-blowingly, people actually aren't that excited by a candidate who sort of primarily campaigns on kind of boring bipartisan outreach and calls to gut Medicare and Social Security. But at any rate, John Huntsman has done well for himself. He was born into an incredibly affluent family. He was governor of Utah, and he'll always have a platform on places like Morning Joe, if nowhere else. And
of course, through that, also giving his kids a platform.
Through that, also
no matter
giving
what.
his kids a platform, no matter what. So Abby Huntsman, who, look, I'm sure she's nice enough. I don't know her, whatever. She has finally caught some attention during her co-hosting gigs on the cycle by doing the most turgid, boring recitation of the same old, tired, exhausted, we need to cut Social Security talking points you've heard. And a lot of people have done a great job debunking this. So as an example, she said life expectancy is increasing. We know that primarily life expectancy is happening because of great breakthroughs in infant mortality, not in terms of people just living longer. And then, of course, if we disaggregate beyond that, we know that the people who need Social Security most, people in the working classes, people who really have to actually, work for a living, they can't just say, hey, I'm happy to spend an extra 5 years talking about stuff I sort of know about on NBC. Maybe those people don't need Social Security, but the people who work in coal mines, drive buses, and work real jobs, yeah, they kind of need their Social Security if they're going to have any retirement at all. So, look, all of this stuff has been endlessly debunked by people who understand the numbers. And we all know the solution to this, which is if you really want to get out ahead of this possible problem that may arise in over a decade, lift the cap on taxable income. Done. Smooth, easy solution. Got it done in 5 minutes. You lift the cap, more taxable income, progressively indexed, no one loses a single benefit, and it's a wrap. By no means our premier problem. The real actual long-term problem we need to be worried about that could actually disrupt Social Security is, of course, rapid climate crisis. But why talk about that when we can, cut down on seniors eating? But the real thing that drives me nuts about this is that it's framed from a millennial perspective, which is already okay, it's a little obnoxious to begin with to, we're millennials. I don't really like to frame my arguments that way. Well, speaking as a millennial. But it is so toxic and destructive because the reality is that, look, two salient points here. One is that there is a millennial crisis, and it's called an employment crisis. It's called a wage crisis. Millennials have had astoundingly low levels of employment during the Great Recession. Wages have gone down. People's whole lives and earning potentials and ability to buy homes and start families has been gutted and decimated by this crisis. Now, so if you're talking as a millennial advocate, your first job is a jobs program. Your second job is a climate strategy because we're going to deal with the most extreme effects of climate. So right off of the bat, jobs, inequality, climate. Those are the millennial issues, period. Those are the defining millennial issues. There's no debate about that. Secondly,
I see you're speaking for all the millennials.
I will. Take that, Abby Huntsman. I, too, speak for millennials. And incidentally, I have a hoodie on.
Yeah, where's your hoodie?
Yeah, where's your hoodie, Abby? I'm saying this because I feel...
How do you speak for all the millennials without wearing the millennial uniform?
Yeah. I'm going to post about this on Twitter.
Do you watch Girls, Abby Huntsman?
Do you Vine? But Social Security, but think of the basic logic of Social Security. So first, the same people, because it's always the people who want to gut and decimate Social Security are the first people that don't want to do anything about the crisis we face in jobs. They're the ones who want endless austerity. They want endless, the deficit, blah, 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 unless it, of course, implicates tax cuts. Although in a few cases, some of them do support across-the-board austerity. But in most cases, not even that. Think of the implications of that. I'm going to do nothing for a job strategy and an earnings strategy right now, even as there's massive amount of concentrated corporate profits, massive amount of inequality that could be generated and rechanneled into investing in people, into creating new businesses, into generating employment. Won't do any of that. Forget that. You're on your own. Your wages will be depreciated. Your job prospects will be depreciated. Until maybe by the time you're in your 40s or something, you've scrapped together something that's okay, well below your parents' living standards, at which case the phased in, I'm sure by this point we've already had changed CPI, so it's already a crisis. But we're going to keep gutting Social Security to the point where now all of a sudden you have the personal financial responsibility to take care of your parents in retirement. So not only is this not a millennial argument, this is a double whammy on millennials. No strategy for the present crisis, and then the next crisis that we're going to have to take care of because these programs are eliminated. If you care about this generation and you want to work on the issues that involve it, there's one long-term problem to worry about: climate. There's one short-term problem to worry about: jobs, and there's one that intersects both and goes into the horizon. That's inequality. Cutting Social Security will only make inequality, jobs, and savings worse. It's a ludicrous argument.